Tonight on The GOAT Show.
How much money did they give him?
What a fucking cuck. It wasn't even the candidate.
Yeah, I feel like the Flagrant interview was really the best one.
What? What?
Trump would have been like, he is, you're right.
Oh yeah, he shot someone in the face. Welcome to The GOAT Show, the show where we celebrate and debate all things great. My name is ZiLLY. I am joined by my co-hosts, Fresh and Deezy. Gentlemen, how you doing? We have an exciting show today. We are going to be talking election 2024, as in the U.S. election, which is about, as of this recording, is 5 days away. So something crazy could happen in the 5 days. We're not going to be able to cover it. We are speaking 5 days out. But before we get into our discussion of the election, Fresh, what do the people need to do?
They gotta like. They gotta subscribe. They gotta comment. They gotta hit the bell. They gotta send it to their mom. They gotta send it to their aunt. They gotta send it to... If you're a liberal, send it to a Democrat. If you're a Democrat, send it to a liberal.
If you're a Republican, send it to MAGA. You know, if you're MAGA, send it to a Republican, you know, and everything in between.
And if you're watching this, comment who you're voting for in the section below. Let's see if you're brave enough to post who you're voting for in the section below.
Tell us who you're voting for. Tell us why. If you hate what we have to say, because we're going to say some things today about both candidates. You know, I think we'll be pretty fair. So, you know, if you have any, corrections you'd like to make, if you feel like we've made some false statements here, by all means, top of the comments, let us know. Or if you just want to shout out your candidate before this election, by all means, this is an open comment section for you to talk about everything and anything you want related to the U.S. election.
Trump 2024.
Oh my God, we already gone partisan. Do I gotta say Kamala 2024 now to balance it out? Is there some kind of election law or something?
Dude, Indians for Harris, bro. Oh my God, dude.
There are, I think, some Indians for Harris. So what are you gonna do? Just gonna have to, I don't know why, but there are. But before we get into the election, though, I want to talk about some criminal activity, some shady behavior going on.
I'm locked up.
Not anymore, baby. Light one up. Thug is fucking home.
Oh, damn. Throwing sirens up on this, too. All right. Well, you've been talking about it. We got free Young Thug. Looks like Young Thug is free. Fresh, can you give us the lowdown on what's going on with that whole, the developments in that case?
So basically, he did get a 40-year sentence. However, he got time served for the previous time that he was awaiting sentencing and stuff like that. So they gave him 5 years for that. He's to serve 15 on probation. But if he slips up on his probation stipulations, they got 20 years backloaded ready for him. So he'll have to serve the rest of the 40. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so 15 years probation. What are the stipulations for that probation? Like, how could he potentially violate that probation?
So he's not allowed in the Metro Atlanta area. He is not allowed to make any music about gang violence. He is not allowed to associate with any gangs. He has to make 4 appearances a year that are anti-gang violence. They can be concerts or speaking events, but he has to do 4 of them. I believe. And he's allowed to travel for music or work. I think that's the only stipulations.
But otherwise, he's got to stay in state.
Yeah, but I'm not sure what's like. So I'm also not sure where he's allowed to live. Right? Like, where in Georgia is safe for him? I guess anywhere that's not Atlanta.
Right.
So he can't go to Atlanta at all. What if no concerts in Atlanta ever again?
They might let him do concerts like those events, like the anti-gang violence. They might let him do those in Atlanta, I'm sure. But otherwise, probably not.
I heard that the only person he's allowed to talk to is Gunna.
Yep.
That's what he requested in his plea,
Yep.
because he wants to be able to continue to make music. And
That's what I think has gone on here. Like, people have called Gunna a rat. I honestly believe that they did what they played chess in this scenario to get the breadwinners out of jail, because like, when you get hit with a RICO, these guys are not coming with like no evidence. You know what I mean? You're going down, bro. So I think that what they did was they're like, listen, they already know these things about us. Let's try to get the ones who make the money out of jail.
Interesting.
And I mean, listen, I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I'm pro organized crime over not organized crime, and you have to pick one of them. We don't live in a utopia. You have to pick one. So I'd prefer if there was
Right.
some organization to it.
And usually organized crime does come with some sort of respect and rules and boundaries versus people who are just criminals and do whatever they want to do. Like, there are rules to the gang. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like the U.S. government. You know, there's rules, there's regulations, there's, you know.
The biggest mafia in the world.
Well, good to hear the Young Thug is free. You know, I to be honest, I haven't been following it that close, but it seemed like there was all kinds of stuff in that trial that just seems so shady on everybody's behalf. So I think just because of that, I'm rooting for him, and I'm glad that he was able to, you know.
Look, he took care of a lot of people when he was free. Like, Atlanta got super hot when he went in. Atlanta got hot. This is why I'm saying I'm pro organized over not organized, because it got way worse. I'm not saying that organized criminals don't commit crimes. You know, like, of course they do. But again, like, to me, it's a lesser of two evils conversation, right? Because you're not going to have no crime.
Okay. I mean, yeah, sounds reasonable to me, and it doesn't seem like the things that they're putting on him are, I don't know, I could be wrong, but it seems like pretty doable. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just see. We'll see what happens. You know, there is another criminal though that we need to talk about. Donald J. Trump. MAGA, don't get mad at me. Just stop it. All right. Everybody's getting these jokes today.
That's going through appeals. Okay. So, you know,
free Trump. Free Trump. That's what I got to say. All right, liberals. Now you're mad at me. Listen, equal opportunity here to talk about everybody and everything. But something I will say about this election on the Trump side, this has to be the most, I don't know, I think well run or interesting, well handled, put it that way, well handled campaign for a candidate ever in the history of the United States. Now, I am no expert historian, so perhaps the historians out there can think of a more compelling campaign. Maybe Taft had a more compelling campaign, or Harding, or, you know, whatever. But I'm just saying that in terms of my lifetime on the television, Trump's campaign, this one is the wildest and the most well handled. You got the Trump mugshot, you know, the mugshot seen around the world, gangster ass Trump mugshot. All right, so that's first thing. Okay, let's count it off. You got 2 assassination attempts on this dude. Oh, 3.
They also found bombs outside his rally. It's 3.
All right, so we up to 3.
You know, there's a rumor also that when back in the day when he was president, there was an assassination attempt on him when he was in a plane, I believe, or something like that. Not 100% sure, but
That's probably par for the course. But just this campaign, literally this last year, like probably just last few months, this has gone down. You know, you got the McDonald, you got Elon hopping up in the air. You know, Elon coming on board, hopping up in the air, campaigning for this dude in Pennsylvania, giving away $1 million checks.
One a day or some shit, right?
One a day, just for saying that you like the Constitution.
I signed that petition.
All right, if you win, Deezy, you better not disappear. You better be throwing it our way.
No, what are you talking about? I'll pay my debts with a clean 70,000 and maybe put like 200 in the bank, and the rest is let's run it up.
Yeah, tuxedos for all of us.
Elon, listen, man, I signed it. My name's Demetrius. Check me out. I'm on there. I got the email. I even got some mail from you guys, so I know it's legit. Send me that 1 milli. MAGA Trump 2024.
Cha-ching.
I believe in you.
Well, Elon, hope you're watching. I know you are. Deezy's a good dude. Pay up. Pay up, motherfucker. All right. We got Elon campaigning, running around. All of Twitter basically is Trump's domain. So you got that. You got McDonald's. This motherfucker out here cooking these fries up in the McDonald's. And I know people were like, oh, it's just a photo op, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yeah, duh. Because he almost got assassinated twice. He got hit in the ear. He almost got hit. He almost died. Yeah, I'd be saying like it's got to be a photo op. You better vet these guys. You better vet these Indians coming through that through that drive-through.
Yo, I'll be honest with you. I'm tired of motherfuckers saying he got shot in the ear. Do you know what your ear is a part of, bro? Your fucking head.
Yeah.
He got shot in the head.
Yeah, he did.
Like he got shot in the head, bro.
Fair enough.
Like
fair enough.
Literally
I mean?
millimeters away from death.
From his brain, bro. Like millimeters from his brain.
This is how insane this election season is that I think in the past, if you were any candidate, it didn't matter if you're right or left, Republican, whatever, if you got shot in the if you were almost assassinated and shot in the ear, you would get like it would be a lock. You're going to win this election because the American people I thought in the past wouldn't put up with somebody trying to take down any candidate for any reason. But for whatever reason, when it comes to Trump, it's just people don't even remember. This happened like what, a month ago, 6 weeks ago? I can't remember when it happened. Not that long ago.
It's been happening for two or 3 months now. Like there's been like one a month for the last 3 months or something like that. At most. But I mean, this is par for the course with the TDS, bro.
I mean, and that's what I kind of want to talk about a little bit, but before we get into that, I want to talk about just the final little last thing that happened this weekend, which was all this garbage. Everybody's garbage. That's basically what's going on. Tony Hinchcliffe, at one of these MAGA rallies in Madison Square Garden, which was, I mean, what Republican has done a Madison Square Garden sold out rally? A Republican. I never heard of it. It's never happened. I've never seen it.
Have you heard Joe Rogan explain the Tony Hinchcliffe joke?
I have not. So just for anybody who may be watching in the future don't remember, Tony Hinchcliffe came out and called Puerto Rico an island of garbage. But explain, Fresh. What was he referring to? What was
Joe Rogan actually shined a little bit more light on this scenario than I was even aware of. So Puerto Rico does have a garbage problem, like a landfill problem, right? But the joke, which this is not his first time doing the joke, by the way, he's done this joke many a times in many a sets, stems from the fact that he does environmental activism. And he's mad about it and wants to shed light on it. And he's a comedian, so that's how he does it, right? And now he's being demonized for a joke. However, the other side of it is I wouldn't have even done comedy at a non-comedy event. Like I don't think that that's where you do it. I don't think the joke's gonna hit.
Joe Rogan had a podcast talking about the Tony Hinchcliffe joke afterwards, and he was like, if you were more well known, then maybe you could get up there and people would automatically know, like, hey, this is a comedian, like he's going to be telling jokes, but he's not there yet. Like he's not to that point where he's an icon and he could just get on the stage and people automatically turn to comedy mode, and
he is the number one roaster. Like I put that on the person who organized the person or people, and the people who organized the event vetted the jokes, bro.
Yeah, that's what Rogan was saying.
And they knew.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing. A Trump audience is more based, I think, than your usual. I mean, again, I agree with you guys. I agree in the sense that the optics on it when it's public is not the same. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people who would be watching that thing that would have no idea who he is, would have no idea about like kind of the audience that MAGA people are. I think MAGA people, though, the idea that they're thin skinned and that anyone who was gonna vote for Trump that's MAGA was not gonna vote for him after like who was that dude that said, oh, like he disrespected Puerto Rico, I gotta throw my support behind Kamala? That is like some Puerto Rican rapper dude. Which to me, I'm like, I don't know, bro.
Bad Bunny.
Oh, Bad Bunny.
How much money did they give him?
Yeah. Like it's that one thing's gonna make you say I no longer support Trump. I mean, Trump didn't say it. It's like, it's kind of dumb. I don't know. Maybe he got a lot of pressure from his Puerto Rican friends, but I'm just saying, like,
I mean, if anybody actually watched Kill Tony, then they would understand his jokes. Like, if you've watched one episode of Kill Tony, then you'll get it.
Yeah, but the average person, I don't think, and I guess this is Joe Rogan's point, right? The average person right now hasn't watched an episode of Kill Tony, so they don't know.
I just don't know if the average, like this quote unquote average person, right? I think there's a lot of people who thought it was funny. I thought it was funny. Look, everybody gets these jokes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Maybe it wasn't appropriate for that environment, but I'm just like, who are these sensitive ass bitches who are like, oh, you made a Puerto Rico joke, so I'm not going to vote for you. It's like,
What a fucking cuck! It wasn't even the candidate.
yeah, it was the first dude who came up, and at the very, I don't know. It's just like much ado about nothing, in my opinion. They're just,
But that to me says so much about the other side of like, why are you so mad about these little things? Because obviously you have nothing real to grab onto.
yeah. I mean, it's really just weird to me. I'm like, if that's the one thing that's going to get you to not vote for somebody, compare with, and we'll get into this in a second, but like, that's one thing about this whole election season that's just so bizarre to me. It's just like I feel like it's like it's a real referendum on the priorities of the people. You know what I'm saying? And I really do feel like we're living in this world where it's like two different worlds. But here's so I mean, one side of this thing, which I feel like is the side that's better. And again, we're talking about Trump and his the campaign he's running. And I feel like it's an excellent campaign that he's running, regardless of this, whether you agree or not with this, you know, the snafu. But like, you know, Joe Biden, it makes me think Joe Biden's working for Trump. But like, he came out afterward and made a garbage comment as well. He said that Trump supporters were garbage, and that's from his own mouth. You know, it wasn't somebody else saying it.
The gaslighting from the administration, I want to play just this clip for this because, like, dude, literal, like saying, no, he didn't say that when there's video footage of him saying the exact words. And
Yeah.
Well, there's now email correspondence about them editing what he said.
Right.
uh,
Right.
well, here it is.
Okay, let's see.
Can you just address the president's comments yesterday referring to Trump supporter as garbage? And I know he's tried to clarify that he was trying to talk about what the person said. But one, I guess I want to know, does he think less of Americans who support Trump than he does of those who do not? Yeah. And two, why is he using that kind of rhetoric? How is that presidential?
So a couple of things. So just to clarify, he was not calling Trump supporters garbage, which is why this is why he wanted to make sure that we put out a statement that clarified what he meant and what he was trying to say. And so just want to make that very clear for folks who are watching. And I just want to read that out to folks. So he was regarding to the comedian, and I quote, "I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at the rally don't reflect who we are as a nation." And to your question, your other question that you asked, no, he does not to view Trump supporters or anybody who supports Trump as garbage. That is not what he views. If the president has said this for more than 3 years now, he has said multiple times that he is a president for all. It doesn't matter if you live in a red state. It doesn't matter if you live in a blue state. He has said this himself. I have said it on his behalf. He believes that he's a president for all. And it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter if you voted for him or.
And that's it, bro. Just the ultimate gaslighting. And then here's
or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware. They're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters. His demonization of seen as unconscionable.
So there's the literal video of him saying the only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
It's I mean, it's not even the same. I don't know. Again, and are we really surprised? You know, that's the other thing. Are we really surprised? It's just straight up hardcore gaslighting. Anyway, I did think that Trump's response to it was pretty hilarious. Basically, got in a garbage truck with one of those those vests, the orange vests with the neon on them, and trolled the shit out of them, which I thought was fun. Which, I mean, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like when I see a Tony Hinchcliffe thing, it's kind of like, Trump trolls, and that's what we love about him. Whether or not you like him as a presidential candidate or not, you got to admit the guy knows how to troll. He's an expert troll. And
it's funny as fuck.
It's funny as fuck. It's so.
Although I do have to say this every time we bring this up. I do still think that it's very fucking weird that the star of The Apprentice is facing off against Montel's jump off for the leader of the free world. It is fucking insane. I don't think like the dystopian times we live in, brother. That's
Hey, and listen, not only is the star of The Apprentice doing that, the star of The Apprentice, the most important interview in the entire world of Trump, the one everyone has been waiting for, is with the host of Fear Factor, and that would be the Trump Rogan interview. Apparently, this was the most important interview Trump had to do this season. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I like both of them, but I felt like it was a little bit meh. I know it's 3 hours, but Trump didn't really say anything. There were a couple of things that he said that were compelling, but for the most part, I don't know what you guys think. I thought it was kind of like he's just saying what he's saying on the campaign trail.
I don't like it that much. I felt the same as you. Like not I don't like it, but I just was like, meh, it is what it is. It's kind of boring. Kind of like had to stop and start it a bunch of times because I wasn't really entertained. I wasn't really following.
Yeah, I feel like the flagrant interview was really the best one.
That's the one that I think was his biggest in this cycle. And I think it's the one that lets you see who he is the most. Like the most insightful and the most whatever. To me, the Rogan one was like, it was a redundant interview. It didn't need to happen because the Schultz one did so well.
Right.
And they're the same circuit. Like the flagrant to Rogan is the flow of what you do, right? You go on flagrant, you go on Rogan.
Well, I also like Kamala Harris said that she was going to go on Rogan some months ago and then canceled or denied. And then so I think Trump is playing chess, and like every time she says something about something or something is said about the campaign, they'll capitalize on it. Like when she said she worked at McDonald's, Trump was like, all right, bet. When they called him garbage, he's working the garbage truck.
Hey, I'll tell you this. I'm gonna real quick. I think we should toast. And I forget her name, but his campaign manager this time around, I think it's a she. She's killing it. Whoever's managing his campaign is fucking, whether you like them or not. I mean, they're on it.
It probably goes over a lot of people's head.
That's why they think they're winning, right? Because the jokes go over their head, the stats go over their head, their head goes over their head. Like
current Polymarket odds, 61% to 39%, Trump winning.
I will say with Polymarket though, I think Breaking Points revealed that there were some whales that are influencing that. some big whales of big money. But which, hey, I mean, who knows? Maybe those whales are, betting big money. So, it makes a difference. But I think there is some weight. The Polymarket thing, I think, is because, well, before we get into all the actual kind of the polling data stuff, because I really want to talk to you guys about this stuff because it's all over the place. But I did want to say one thing real quick about how this is the first election of my lifetime or ever, I think, where podcasters and podcast episodes are playing a huge role in getting to know the one candidate. Trump's doing the circuit. He did Theo Vaughn. He's done Flagrant, Nelk Boys. Rogan, obviously. He's doing some other different podcasts, and JD Vance, his vice president, is also doing all these podcasts, long form, unscripted, ask me whatever question you want kind of stuff. And the other side, I think Kamala has done one or two. She did 2 long form podcasts that I can think of. One with Call Her Daddy, and one with Shannon Sharp. But otherwise, like you brought up Deezy, she was going to go on Rogan, or at least there were discussions for her to come on Rogan. Trump did his 3 hours on Rogan, and he held his own. And Rogan was not, contrary to what people may think, he was a little bit adversarial. I wouldn't say in a negative way, but like he was challenging him on a lot of things that he was saying.
I think as he always is, right? I think that is kind of Joe's stance, and he didn't falter on that.
He didn't. I think in that sense, Joe did a great job.
This is one of the few podcasts where Joe like went into this one where with intention, right? Like, I have questions I want to get answered, and a lot of people have these same questions, and like I'm not just hanging out with the dude. I have some things I want answered, because a lot of his podcasts, he brings his friends on and they just end up talking about whatever, and it goes wherever. And this was much more like, listen, these are the issues. What are you gonna do?
Which I wonder if that may have made it less of an interesting, because I think with Schultz and when he did his interview, there wasn't quite. It was more conversational. It was a little bit looser, I think, than and same with Theo Vaughn. I feel like
Theo Vaughn interview was insane.
Yeah, Theo's a great interviewer. I think he's disarming.
Can't even do cocaine anymore in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta give JD Vance credit. I mean, he went on Tim Dillon, which is amazing. So, I mean, I guess my question to you guys is, do you feel like that's going to have an impact?
Absolutely. And I think that Barron, who is the one who's setting all this shit up, the tall ass son of his, is fucking killing it, bro. Shout out, yeah. Cheers
out
to
Barron. You handsome ass fucking Trump.
Fucking
toast to you.
I don't know. I was saying this the other day. I actually think that Barron is the most like him and gonna be the most like him as he grows old.
He's got that good Trump blood.
He's got some mystery to him, bro. He's got some like hidden knowledge in there.
Aura.
Yeah, he's got an aura, bro. There's something going on in that guy's head. He's thinking big thoughts. You know what I mean? He's not just some kid living life.
You can't share big thoughts with small-minded people. That's why they're stuck in his head, you know?
Wait, hold on. I just had a thought.
Okay.
If Donald Trump got assassinated, then Barron would be effectively Batman in the future.
No. Also, what's her name would have to die, right?
I mean, it could possibly
Melania.
Yeah.
If they took out Melania and
oh right, you got to get both parents.
Bro, he is like setting up for the hero arc of Batman right now. It's pretty crazy.
He's too tall to be Batman. Bruce is not that tall, bro.
Wait, how tall is Batman?
Only 5'10".
5'10"? Really? I thought he was like 6'3" or something.
Yeah, that's how tall I am.
Big ass Batman. Big old bat.
All right, sorry for the spinoff. Let's go to the camel. I mean Kamala.
Well, okay, so comparing to Kamala, okay. I mean, she lazy, bro. I mean, let's just call it out. Not going on all these podcasts, okay. Leaning on all these celebrities at her rallies that don't even perform. I mean, that's lazy. Even Beyonce didn't perform at a rally. Like, how lazy is that?
People were pissed.
They were aggro, man. They did not like that.
I saw this is unverified, but I believe I saw that Beyonce got paid a lot of money to attend that.
They're paying people.
Millions, like $12 million.
Bro, they all do. And I'm not talking about just performers. The people in the crowd, bro, are getting money.
Influencers, the crowd.
Bro, you can catch the ads on Craigslist and shit. It's crazy.
Do they pay you before, after? How's that work? That's how I want to know. Because if I could get paid and then just like rip my top shirt off and I'm wearing MAGA underneath, and then I could get escorted out, but I just got a check. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. I recently at a rally, they had some people who were like calling her out and causing trouble. They may have been MAGA people. I don't know if they're MAGA or if they're just, hecklers or whatever, but yeah, she's having to deal with that at her rallies a little bit.
Was that I think you're at the wrong rally, that thing?
Well, there was that where she basically said, which I know this is going to be controversial. You go to a rally and start yelling "Christ is King," I'm kind of like, but she shouldn't have said that, Christians aren't welcome here. That shouldn't have been the response.
I agree with you. Bad timing on the person who yelled it out. Really bad timing. However, not very presidential of an answer there, Kamala.
Right.
Trump would have been like, he is, you're right.
And then moved on. Move on, bro.
And then moved on.
I don't get the sense from her that she's not good with anything spontaneous at all. She trips over her words. She can't quite put thoughts together. She makes like weird faces and does a shoulder shrug thing with her hands, and it's like really weird. Not that every president needs to be an improv master. I'm just saying that, like, if you're gonna pick between two people, someone that can figure things out on the fly and go with the flow and maintain composure and all that, when they're like dealing with people that might be a little bit on the tweak side, you know what I'm saying? Or you're going to have someone like Kamala who's not going to be able to deal with like somebody saying something, or I don't know, maybe it's just, the cameras are on and she's not good with that. But again, like, I didn't like it when GW was terrible on camera. I mean, you got to be good on camera. It's annoying when they're not.
Bro, you have to be the whole package. Like, I'm not trying to be too extreme with it. I don't think it's a lot to ask of a president of the United States to be able to speak in front of the people at all. Like, I don't think that. How are you supposed to
right
like give your people any confidence? Like, times are not always sunshine, lollipops, and butterflies, bro. Sometimes some bad shit happens, and if you can't roll with the punches,
this translates into a bigger problem that she's had this entire campaign, which is that she doesn't talk in public. Other than the debate, the one debate that she did, which I don't know what people are thinking. I don't know why they think that debate was her great debate. I didn't get that at all, but that kind of goes to something I want to talk about in a second, which is that I feel like we're living in two different dimensions of existence. But yeah, she's not going on these podcasts other than the ones that are safe. And when she does go on them, it's pretty much universally agreed that she did not do a great job on either podcast she was on. There weren't any great sound bites. She doesn't talk about anything related to real policy. I mean, she might have it written, but she doesn't speak to anything. I don't know. It's what I feel like in this election. So I know I'm hopping all over, but let's jump back a second. We were talking about polls. Okay. Polymarket. For anybody who doesn't know, Polymarket it's basically a Vegas betting poll, right? You get, they're basically saying who do people who are betting on the election think is going to win. Okay. Then you got the normal ass polls, all the usuals, the Rasmussens and the Nate Silver polls and stuff like that. And they're showing that there's momentum on Trump's side, that it's looking like he's doing really well. But they show everything as being tight. Everything's tight. A couple points here, a couple points there in all these different states, right? And in the past, I would have said there's got to be manipulation. There's something weird going on. They're not doing it. But I have now changed my mind because this past weekend, I hung out with some homies in Atlanta. All right. Now, these are my homies. These are my homeboys. I've known them for years and years and years. I'm not speaking ill of them at all. I really do. We have interests that, I'd say like the majority of our interests are aligned and we're on the same page and they're good people and all this stuff. But when it comes to Trump, these guys and gal, I think it's just like I don't know what it is. There is something they got what we commonly refer to as the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. Now, and they probably get mad at me for saying that, but I'm just saying, like, from our discussions, and they were somewhat heated at times, never disrespectful, but definitely spirited, shall we say. They really, I don't know. It's like I feel like I'm talking to an alien or something. Like I don't understand I don't know. It's weird. It's like certain things are not. Here's one example, and this is why I will never vote for Kamala. So I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to ever vote for her. This is the one thing at the end of the day that makes me go, there's no fucking way I'm going to vote for this person. Okay. I'm not going to vote for her. Doesn't mean I'm necessarily going to vote for Trump. I'm not going to vote for her. She's out here campaigning with Liz and Dick Cheney. She out in the when she is campaigning, not taking a break for one day, which I don't know what that's for, Illuminati training or something. But when she's not doing that and she's actually out on the trail and she's campaigning with Liz and Dick Cheney and like kind of like happy to get their support, saying how it's like a good strategy and all this stuff. I'm like, I mean, for anybody who, I don't know, if you're a Democrat, that's what Democrats fought. That's why Obama got elected. Is the the Iraq war going to crap. That's why a lot of Democrats voted for Trump, because they didn't like that the wars kept going on. I'm just saying, like, for you to actively be happy that Dick Cheney and Liz Cheney are supporting you, and then you're actually going to go out on the campaign trail and they're actually going to join you on stage, and then you're gonna give I also don't like the way she speaks to people. I feel like it's like she lectures people.
Like they're in kindergarten?
Yeah. It's like a kindergarten lecturer. It's like it's weird. But she's gonna go kindergarten lecture people about how the policies and what we had after 9/11, is like the American way, and our intervention in the rest of the world is like she really said all this shit. She's like, we have to be present in the rest of basically neocon, neoliberal bullshit talking points. She could have been John Bolton for all we know. Okay.
What?
I know.
Are we in the Twilight Zone?
We are. I think so. I really do think that maybe we did go through 2012, and like it's a weird, dimensional warp that we went through, because talking to some of my buddies, like I'm like, I'll bring up something like that, and it just won't even be. I'm like, I know when this was happening, and we lived through it together in college and all through the years and all this stuff, that this was stuff that seemingly mattered, and now just because Trump is Trump, for some reason, like that's not even a thing they care about. Like they literally don't care at all.
Like, fuck it, we'll fight 6 world wars. Just don't let Trump come in.
Right. And that's what's weird. I don't get it, man. I don't know if you.
The whole thing that sucked about fucking Dick the Devil Cheney was that he was fucking a warmonger, bro.
Yes.
That was the whole thing that everybody hated about this fucking clown.
Yeah.
And now we're like, hey, yeah, this is the guy. What the fuck? Like, bro, where did I wake up? Like, can somebody please pinch me?
He also shot somebody.
Oh yeah, he shot someone in the face.
What?
Dick Cheney.
For what?
Yeah, he shot Dick Cheney way back.
Birdshot.
Yeah.
Back in the day, he was duck hunting.
Yeah, he went duck hunting with this dude, and I think he shot him in the face with birdshot. I don't know if it's accidentally or intentional, but
did he die?
No, birdshot. It just peppered him up a little bit, like as Chappelle likes to say. But yeah, Dick Cheney is evil, dude. He's the guy him and that cadre of freaking neocons are responsible for Iraq. I'm talking Iraq before, like Iraq-Iran war, 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like all that shit. There's
Desert Storm shit.
Desert Storm.
I want to
Vietnam.
clarify. It was 2006, February 11th. Dick Cheney shot Harry Whittington, a 78-year-old Texas attorney, with a 12-gauge Perazzi shotgun while participating in a quail hunt in Texas.
On purpose?
This says that both of them said it was an accident, but who knows?
I mean, are you
Dick
really
Cheney
going to go
shoots
against
you
Dick Cheney?
You're going to say, yeah.
Right. During like
right, this one was an accident, or the next shot won't be. All right.
I mean, I think the only person more evil than Dick Cheney is Hillary Clinton. I mean, that's about as. I mean,
And she's campaigning for them too.
Yeah, that alone to me is, I mean, there's another thing that she did, or both her and Joe did, that makes her immediately disqualified in my mind, which is that they never. So the one good thing Joe did, whether I guess if I'm looking at it objectively, is get us out of, quote unquote, get us out of Afghanistan. I have a feeling we're still there, but at least officially on paper, we got out of Afghanistan. But there was a botched withdrawal. We left a bunch of shit there that shouldn't have been left there for the Taliban and probably, other, their friends to go take state-of-the-art equipment that they're now parading through the streets with. But okay, fine. We're out of Afghanistan. But the one thing that happened was that 13 of our soldiers died in that withdrawal, and it was botched. They did not have to die. It could have been handled a certain way where that would not have been the case. Okay, fine. People make mistakes or whatever. Sometimes you make the call, it doesn't go as planned. Okay, what happens in the scenarios? You own that shit. And you got 13 families and parents that have lost a loved one. And the minimum you can do as president is call them and say, give your condolences and let them say whatever they want to say to you. Take the heat, take the punishment of your decision making. The other thing you could do is you can show up at their funerals and not look at your watch when the covered caskets come down the freaking line. And yeah, you can lay the wreath at those funerals every year, as president, which is what Trump did. And everyone was invited, according to what they're saying. This is not something where only Trump was invited to do this at these ceremonies, and he does it a lot of in secret. He doesn't say anything about it. He just does it, And he was the first to call them. And say what you will about that, but to me, you had 3 years to make phone calls to parents who lost, their loved ones, or parents, wives, whatever, all these kids, families. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't do that for 3 years. And then when Trump does it, yeah, and you're big mad when Trump does it, and you're making a big story about it and saying how he's done it. Like, you didn't do anything for 3 years. Like, if my brother had been killed that way, and we didn't get any acknowledgement from the U.S. government, I mean, maybe general call or whatever, but still, the protocol is like the president makes the call and like has to, and that's a good thing. I think they have to deal with the consequences of their actions and the consequences of their decisions. To me, that's really, if you want to talk about character and personality and stuff like that. I mean, it's like that shows that like they see soldiers as pawns, and they're just tools to be used. And so that's a big reason why I feel like with her it's unacceptable, and I think it's unacceptable with all this different stuff. But the Cheney thing bothers me big time. But
It's funny that you bring that up because this is another thing that they're trying to take out of context of Trump saying. He said earlier, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 days ago, he talked about Liz and Dick Cheney. And he said, he goes, they like to sit in their office in Washington and send tens of thousands
Right.
of kids, of your kids, to go and die. And then he said, like, put her out there with all those guns pointed at her face and see how she likes it. And they're now trying to make it seem like Trump wants to shoot Liz Cheney, right? Like,
I mean, and that's been the story for, it's just constant manipulation of whatever. And I mean, I guess what it all, I do want to, move on from this, but I think like, I guess where this all kind of comes back around is, kind of talking about, people that I met and people that I know, like there is a silent, very, very strong, in my opinion, TDS vote that still exists. And that's why they don't do shit. They know that like all they got, like in her interview all the time, all she does is just say Trump, 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 Trump. And I used to think that's like, okay, that's so stupid. She has no policy. She's not talking about anything she's actually going to do. She has no vision. But I think they know on their side, they don't have to do anything else. That you just throw the name Trump out there, and there's just this silent TDS vote is real, and I encountered that. And
I'd say that they created that, though. I would say like it is real, but they've created it.
Right.
They've done like this mass hypnosis, in my opinion,
right,
where when anybody says the word Trump, you don't even have to be talking about politics. You could be playing
Right.
euchre, bro.
Right.
And you got the Trump card.
Yeah, it literally is the Trump card.
It sets them off. Bang.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we're talking politics. We were never talking politics, but I got the Trump card. Oh, let's go. Now we're fucking. Now they've lost their mind. They're yelling. They're screaming. They're freaking the fuck out, and they're calling you names and they're whatever.
Yeah, I mean, people, and here's the other thing. I have problems with Trump. I really do. But to me, they're like I can explain what those problems are with Trump. Like I can explain, like, the last time he was in office, he had people around him that were idiots, and he should not have him around him. And this time he doesn't, which is one of the big pluses. Like, I don't, Elon, I know a lot of people don't like the technocrats, but it's not like normal technocrats. It's like David Sachs. It's like, it's like smart dudes that run companies and know shit, I'm saying, that are badasses.
Classically liberal men.
Yes.
Now they are considered conservatives or whatever.
Right.
But these are classically liberal men.
Hey, and women, Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, here's the thing. Like, you got Cheney supporting Kamala. You got Tulsi Gabbard supporting Trump. I mean, say whatever you want about Trump, but I mean, you're going to tell me Tulsi Gabbard, like, if you're a real anti-war person, like, she's been anti-war for as long as I remember, right? So, you got RFK. I know he's controversial, but, like, dude's out. I mean, at least you got to, hear what he had to say on podcasts, and he's transparent about what he is, and you have a 40-year record.
I mean, he looks a lot healthier than the health minister now.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. It's a bizarro world, and it's just one of those things where, like, yeah, the TDS vote is, for any Republicans watching out there who think that, oh, whatever, poly market polls got it in the lock, and I'm just gonna sit this one out. I mean, think hard, because, like, TDS is real. It's hardcore, and it exists. So, and I think it exists on the Republican side too. By the way, I think there may be a lot of Republicans that aren't MAGA, but they don't want to admit it because they don't want to, be called rhinos or whatever. There may be a secret Republican TDS vote that we're just not taking into account. So,
do you think that there's a KDS?
I have KDS.
Do you?
I do. There is a certain part of her personality, but my thing though is that I can look over personality if I feel logically. Like, I try to approach it logically. I try to look, okay, like, I'll give you an example. Chris Larson from XRP Ripple, I own some XRP. All right. I'm biased. I own XRP. He gave her $10 million. Okay. It made me for a second just contemplate, like, should I vote for this person because maybe they're going to be friendly to XRP? At least I thought about it, and because otherwise she hasn't suggested anything to give an indication that she really is going to do anything with crypto, which Trump has been like, hey, crypto's good to go. He congratulated Satoshi on the 16-year anniversary. So I'm like, and it's a big issue for me because I think crypto and competing currencies are the easiest way to fight the Federal Reserve. So,
bro, didn't fucking XRP's price dump right after she got it? Probably because she sold that 10 million in one shot, threw it at the fucking chart.
Damn, I probably got to just sell my XRP and get that Liberty Fi. That Trump's non-endorsement. Okay, don't buy Liberty Fi. Do your own research. I'm just joshing. It may be a good investment. I don't know. You gotta look that up. But Deezy's a crypto man. He could tell us if he thinks it's a good investment. But
buy Solana, buy Bitcoin, and
not financial advice. Okay. Well, we've said our piece about Kamala. We've said our piece about Trump. Okay. And for all you MAGA folks out there, I'm not necessarily 100% Trump either. Okay. I know it's surprising. I know Deezy already gave the endorsement. I think Fresh might give the endorsement. I don't know. Even though he's Canadian.
I'm not MAGA. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, listen, I'm also not American, so I don't have as much of a fucking horse in this race. You know what I mean? But
right.
however, we're U.S. junior, bro. Whatever happens over there, it's going to affect us a lot more than people realize. And I don't know, bro. I don't think he's perfect by any means, but I think you guys got two choices. I clearly wouldn't pick one of them. Like, it's not even that, like, I don't even know if I would vote for him. If I had the opportunity, I don't know if I would, but I know for sure I wouldn't vote for her. 100%.
There is a third choice. I'm just going to put it out there. because I got a lot of shit this weekend from the same friends that I love dearly. I got a lot of shit because they were going, we won't go, probably shouldn't go on the show, but, there was one particular issue they were going hard on me about, the whole abortion issue, but, we can go on forever about that. But, I shocked them even further because they were saying, oh, well, you're just, you're in league with the MAGA, Christian nationalist, et cetera, et cetera. And I had to tell them that I wasn't. And I told them that, hey, listen, I may not vote for Trump either. I might not vote at all. And they lost it, man. It was 3 against 1. You gotta vote. It's your moral duty. Now, soldiers died for you to have the right to vote.
But I'm gonna vote. But I'm likely gonna vote for the other guy, bro. like the guy you don't want people to vote for. You want people to vote for your. I'm not voting for your person.
I mean, that's one good point. If you should be happy if I say I don't want to vote, you should be, but I mean, to be fair to my friends, and I do call them friends because I'm not a believer that politics should be the end all be all determination of whether someone's your friend or not. There's so many things that you can love and enjoy together. And we did. We went to a couple of, cool rock shows, and, we were creating some things, and it was fun. It was great. And I had a great time. So I'm not going to say that, I think that's bullshit. You shouldn't, in my opinion, you shouldn't stop hanging out with someone because they might vote for somebody the way you don't like.
It's why people stopped discussing politics so long ago.
Yeah, maybe.
Because people liked having friends. And sometimes it's hard to get on board because there's some political opinions you can have, and I agree with you. It's like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like voting for Kamala is not going to make me hate you.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Or not make me dislike you. However, when we start discussing nuances is where I can easily fall, like I need to push back I need to fall back. I don't even want to talk about it, and I'm out. Because there's certain things that are moral issues for me.
Yeah.
That, you know what I mean? That I'm not just okay with. If you're just not looking at that because this issue is what you're voting on, cool. Because there are one issue voters, like they only vote for the thing that matters to them.
Right.
Cool, fine. But if you can look me in my face and tell me, like,
I mean, I'm not even against arguing and having the discussions. They can get heated as long as there's respect. I actually like that. I mean, that's what it used to be. You used to get in these heated kind of things, and then, okay, well, it's over. Let's get back to, jamming, or let's get back to, let's go cook this steak or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not even against that. That's what I grew up with, which is you would have these discussions and these heated back and forths, and then both people kind of leave. Maybe, you've made a little bit of a dent on both sides, and to be fair, they brought up some things about Trump that, weren't, I thought were fair, you know what I'm saying? But there were things I kind of already agreed with about him. So it wasn't really that much of a surprise. But yeah, when I told them that, I may not even vote at all, I told them for sure. I was like, I'm not going to vote for Kamala. So we're not endorsing. I don't, is anybody on this show endorsing Kamala? No. Okay. Sorry, liberals. Any liberals watching this, we just can't do it. But I will say I'm on the fence about potentially, voting for Trump or not voting at all. The principled, hardcore libertarian side of me is thinking, maybe not to vote. But then there's just so much craziness out there on so many. Just the idea that like something like abortion would be more important than, I don't know, the Federal Reserve continuing to print mass amounts of money, the potential for wars in the Middle East to kick in very soon, open border, just letting people in willy nilly. Like, I don't know. I feel like those things are probably more important. Just me. I'm not a woman though.
No, let us murder babies.
At the federal level, you can still murder them. That's the other thing. We can still go out and murder. We just can't do it. It's not a federal mandate.
I also feel like the same way how like the left wants to murder babies, it's so like such a strong thing that they're like, I have to have the right to murder babies, is the same way the right is like, you can't have the right to murder babies, and so strong. And I feel like you only have, like, you just got to get right with you and your maker, bro. You
But I
don't
mean,
have to. I don't need to worry about if you murder babies. If you murder babies, you got to deal with that shit.
for me, the discussion about abortion has always been about it's just like, when are you a human being? So that way you have your rights. That's it. That's all. That's all.
Science says it's a new life at conception. DNA code is written there. That is a life that has never and will never again exist. And we've seen under a microscope, when the sperm impregnates the egg, there is a flash of light where the life is created. That's where life begins.
And another point is, a lot of people that are like whatever pro-abortion means is the women's right to choose, which I think most men are like, yeah, we agree, but you know, it shouldn't be used as birth control. And also they try to say that you can't, that if a woman's going to die or something's going to happen to the woman if she gives birth to this baby, she can't get an abortion. It's not true.
That's no longer considered an abortion.
Yeah, it's a medical emergency, and they still will provide that care. They're not gonna not do that because it's an abortion. Like, and that's already been happening in the states where abortion is illegal. So
Murder in general of any kind is usually a state, quite like euthanasia. And I mean, this is kind of what I argued the point with, a couple of my buddies, like, euthanasia is state by state. Some states say it's okay to pull the plug. Some states say no. It's a living, breathing human being. You're obligated. My personal opinion is I think you can pull the plug, but you can't, pull a gun in both cases. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, because you're not viable, I guess, on your own.
I mean, I'm an individualist. So like, if you're responsible for your life and you go into a coma, nobody else is obligated to take care of you. They should, if you're a great human and they love you or whatever, but they're not obligated to take care of you. So just my personal opinion. But again, the point is that Trump hasn't been saying like, no, we're going to ban abortion nationwide. He's just saying this. He agrees with the Supreme Court decision that it's back to the states and the states decide. And I'm just like, great, sounds reasonable to me. Different people have different views.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was for overturning Roe v. Wade because it was bad case law. It is very bad case law.
And didn't Roe lie? Wasn't that a whole thing?
Yes. There's so much to this, and I don't want to go too deep into the nuances of it, but I just want people who like to people who like oppose this position to really look into it. Don't look into it with your emotions. Read into everything. Look into the case law, look into the precedent that it set, and look at why it was overturned. Also, just want to say when it was overturned. And who was in office during that time? Because I know who it wasn't. 45.
I think you bring up something really important that it's kind of, I kind of knew it deep down, but I didn't want to accept it, which is that we like to think that a lot of people are out here, doing the research and reading the articles and deep diving and watching podcasts and listening to this thing and spending all their time on Twitter and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And the truth is that that's not really the case. Even people who are like, you would say, oh, these are the highly educated people or, whatever, like we like to think, oh, there's just like the dumb American voter never researched anything. But it's not true. It's like a lot of people really actually only read headlines. They only really, they only watch corporate news. They don't do, they never read two sides of anything. They don't want to, like they want just the one side to be presented to them, and they want to face. So, that's where like, maybe I used to look at the last election and be like, oh, there's got to be some weird snafu here with how close things are. Right. But there's a part of me now that I'm like, man, like, I don't know, like the low information voter is real and the TDS is real, and it's a battle.
But I don't even understand how that makes sense. For me, the minute I ever got one of these things, it was over for you bitches. I was learning everything. This has access to all the information everywhere ever that was recorded. You think I'm not going to fucking try to learn it all? It's a fucking scrying tool, bro. I'm gonna see all the shit.
I can't tell you how many people I have to tell them Google it or, hop on Chat GPT real quick and look it up. And, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's, that's why AI and robots, like it's never going to be a problem. There's always going to be jobs because the expectations of what you got to get done will be lower and lower. But not to digress, but I want to go back though to, okay, is it wrong for me if I decide not to vote in this election? If I decide not to participate, is that wrong? Do you guys feel like I'm an awful person?
You have the right to vote. You are not obligated to vote. If you feel like you need to vote on this thing, you have the right to do so. That is all. You don't have an obligation. You have a moral obligation. Where's that moral obligation with fucking babies?
Hey, where's the moral obligation? Because one of the things that said is, soldiers have fought and died to, give you your right to vote. Okay, well then, why are you voting for Kamala, supported by Dick Cheney? Those same soldiers died.
To not have more wars, bro.
Yeah.
They weren't dying to be like, yeah, let's do this once every 4 years, like the World Cup.
Well, okay, this raises a bigger question because this is what I also ask: is like, are the voting machines and the voting process compromised? Like, does your vote even count properly? Does it make a difference?
I don't think so, but like, okay, so this is kind of maybe this might be a little convoluted of an answer, but I never really thought that voting mattered. I've always kind of been of the mind where like this shit is manipulated, but I am a conspiracy theorist. However, this year and the previous election cycle made me actually like have substantial facts as to why I believe this is actually fucking rigged now. And I don't necessarily even mean on that like deeper level. I mean like they are fucking not gonna let up until they get their person in, or so it seems. So I don't think it matters if you vote. I think that for every one of you, there's 7 illegals that don't need ID.
I mean, what do you think, Deezy? I mean, you said earlier you're ready to pull that thing for Trump. Do you think it's worth it? I mean, do you feel like is there a possibility that if enough people vote in such a, like they're saying, too big to rig fashion, do you believe in that? Do you think that that's something that we can still get past all the little whatever snafus they might throw our way?
Maybe. But I'm gonna vote anyway because at least I try to express, and if something goes wrong or weird or my vote doesn't get registered or something, at least I know like I tried to do what I was supposed to do, and I have a testimony to whether or not the election worked or was rigged or something happened to me. So I'm gonna go vote and see what happens.
Fair enough. And I don't judge either way. I'm like, do what your heart tells you. I just don't feel like people who decide not to vote should be, said that they're immoral, un-American. Because my thing is like, I voted in the last elections, and I voted for things that ultimately personally, when I really look hard, I think it's terrible that, like voting for GW in 2000 because I didn't know anything, right? And then he goes and starts the Iraq War. It's like, damn, like this motherfucker said that he wasn't gonna, we were gonna pull back from being the policeman of the world, and he just totally didn't do that at all. Okay, or voting for Obama, in 2008 because it was, oh, yes, we can. And McCain was a war hawk. I knew McCain was a huge war hawk, and Obama was a, the lesser two evils. He's not going to keep doing wars. And guess what? I mean, continues. So it's like, do you guys feel like we are morally culpable for voting for someone who does something really messed up, or when I can understand if we're ignorant, maybe fool me once, you know what I'm saying? But if I know that I can vote for somebody and this person's capable of doing something really immoral that I do not agree with, am I culpable? Am I responsible? Or is it just sort of like,
no? And the problem is because then every single voter is culpable for any wars that any president starts.
I mean,
Because at any point they have the power to do that. At any point, right?
Right.
Like even if they do or not, You are
Right.
giving this person that power.
Right.
So if they do, you're culpable then. And I don't think so. I don't think so.
Yeah.
Especially because nobody runs on war. Except for, I guess, Kamala, maybe. I don't fucking know. But
McCain.
like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
running on war is insane, bro. We're
Yeah.
going to war. We're taking your children. Like, what, bro?
They don't usually run on war. They like the thing now, like Kamala's doing. The thing now is, oh, we have to be a presence in the world. We have to basically, hey, the military's got to be a fucking policeman of the world. We got to keep these motherfucking, Middle Easterners and Latinos and Africans and Chinese, Asians in line. Basically Ukrainians and Russia and all that shit. But I don't know. I will say that there's a lot of libertarians because I identify as I would say a libertarian, like Mises style, Randian libertarian type. And there are a lot of libertarians I respect highly who are going to vote for Trump. So, which I did not expect. Dave Smith, Tom Woods, some of those guys, which is, not something to sneeze at. It's like I've been listening to them say not vote for years, so I don't know how I feel about it. I feel a little bit conflicted about that, but anyway, I don't know. I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna do, guys. That's the other thing. You ain't gotta tell nobody nothing about what you're gonna do. All right, we got to get over that shit. When people ask you to vote, like I'm not gonna say anything. Oh, why? You gonna vote for Trump? Or you gonna vote for Kamala? Whatever. I don't have to tell you shit. I ain't gonna answer shit. Lips are sealed. I'm like Young Thug, man. Keep them lips sealed.
Listen, bro, this is the point, right? Like, those same soldiers that fought for you to fucking be able to have the right to vote, they fought for you to have the right not to vote, for you to talk or not to talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, exercise those fucking freedoms, bro. That's what they fought for. So the freedom to vote and not to vote are one and the same.
Exactly. Last question I want to ask you guys. Who do you think, regardless of how you're going to vote or whatever, who do you think's going to win?
Trump.
I'm thinking Trump just based on everything I've seen. I guess, with the hidden voters, it's really hard to tell, but who's really wanting to vote for Kamala Harris right now? Like, come on, let's be honest.
I'll tell you what, man. Before this past weekend, I would have been like, yeah, Trump's got this. It's a no-brainer. After this last weekend, I'm like, man, that hidden TDS vote, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how that's going to rear its ugly head if it does.
What if what happens is like what we were talking about earlier in the episode, where he does get that sympathy, got shot in the head vote. It was just not how it was being framed, because again, this is a political race. So one side does have to still fight back against the other side, right? So, but what if he still kind of gets that sympathy, right?
I will say this: his campaign videos are pretty they're pretty compelling. The one I mean, God, that one almost made me cry. The one about the little girl who was killed by fucking those two illegal fucking pieces of shit. Dude, that one was hardcore. I don't know. I mean, that may count against them. Some people don't like watching that kind of stuff, but that was hardcore. I was like, man,
The truth hurts, bro.
yeah. You watch that and you're like, I don't know. After that, I was like, that's, and then, but yeah, I mean, he has all. I feel like the assassination, fight, fist in the air. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna win, but that TDS thing is just, I don't know, man. It's crazy. It's hardcore. I really do think it should be like there's got to be something in the DSM or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real, man. What do you think Trump too fresh or not? Or do you think Kamala could pull this one off?
I do think that Trump's going to win, but I don't think that it's going to be a landslide like everybody thinks. I think it's going to be a lot tighter than. However, I do think that Kamala could win. And I guess this is where I'm going to sound like I got KDS, but I think if she wins, the fix is in. But by the fix is in, I mean, like, you're not checking voter ID and shit. So, even if you don't make up numbers, even if you don't whatever, like, this is not a solid and contained election.
That one thing to me, because I'm like, okay, because my friends are bringing that up too. They're like, oh, well, Trump's never going to accept anything if he loses, and he's gonna say they cheated and da da da, right? Which, I mean, hey, that's a fair. I think that's kind of fair. I think it's fair. But the thing that he's asking for, which I think should be the way you determine whether an election's fair, is paper ballots with voter ID or a driver's
Why is
license.
that that hard? Why is that that hard?
Yeah, it's not. Everybody need, if you can't drive to the voting station, if you can't drive to vote, it's like the abortion thing. You can't drive to another state or put on a condom or take Plan B or tie your tubes or like, if you can't do any of that stuff, I'm sorry. Like maybe, don't fuck. I'm just saying. Am I out of line?
And listen, you don't have to keep the kid. Adoption. There's lots of people who want babies and can't have them, bro.
I'm just saying.
It's still a life. You don't get to decide to kill the kid, bro. It's crazy. Anyways.
I mean, there's enough polling stations to where you can walk or take an. I would like to think, like, I don't know, maybe that's out of pocket. But I'm just saying, you should at least have some kind of form of government ID to vote to prove that you're a citizen.
Bro, the reason why they fucking say not to, like, to why we don't need voter ID is racist as fuck too. They're like, oh, well, like black people don't have IDs. This sounds a lot like when that one chick said that black people in the hood didn't even know what a laptop was. Like, your guys' racism is showing
Kamala.
again. Party that switch.
Kamala said that.
Like, the fuck, bro? It wasn't her?
It was her. She said that.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, bro. Like, this is what I'm saying. Your racism is showing again. Party that switched.
To do anything in this country, you have to have a license. Like, you can't work anywhere without a license. And well, I take that back.
You have to have ID. You have to have identification to do anything. You want to buy a lottery ticket? ID. You want to buy cigarettes? ID. You want to do anything as a fucking adult that you need to be an adult to do? You have to prove you're a fucking adult. I've had this fucking beard on my face since way before I could vote, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't prove shit.
It's I don't know. The whole thing's weird, but I'm gonna go out and say I think Trump's gonna pick it up. I agree with you, Fresh. I think it's gonna be tight. That's just my thought, but we'll see. We'll find out when this episode comes out. It'll be a day before the actual election. I'm just gonna say if you're out there, follow your heart. If you don't want to vote, you don't have to vote, and I will not judge you. That's your decision. If you vote for Kamala, hey, not my choice, but still love you. All right, keep watching the show. And if you vote for Trump, cool. I got no problems there either. I want to toast a couple of people as we mosey on out of here. First, I just want to toast the fact that we still have elections. Why not? We still have elections. We're not living under a dictatorship. That's pretty good. So toast to the election itself. I think Trump put on at least one of the most interesting campaigns of all time, one that will be studied over the years. So to the campaign manager of Trump, I think you're doing a stellar job. I think maybe the Hinchcliffe thing's kind of a little bit of a snafu, but other than that, I think you've been doing a great job. So Trump's campaign management, toast to them on this. To garbage. I don't really like garbage, but if you're gonna call me garbage, then whatever. Garbage.
Cheers.
I'm out of drink, but yeah. And then for anybody living in the United States who's gonna go vote, toast to you for getting through this thing. We've gone through it for the last I don't know how many months, years. It's like as soon as this election ends, they'll be talking about 2028. So toast to you for making it through. Anyway, with that, Fresh, what the people got to do?
You gotta like. You gotta subscribe. You gotta hit the bell. You gotta leave a comment. You gotta send it to your mom, your aunt, your uncle, your dad.
Send it to someone who doesn't think the way you think. Send it to someone that has TDS or KDS. You might just convince them to go the other way.
You might just save a life.